Hey everyone, it's July 6th. I ended up lowering the sides, pruning a bunch of the bottoms, and putting this netting up at the top because as soon as the buds start getting heavy, they're going to need the extra support. And so some of these plants look nice and thick compared to some spindly looking ones. And so hopefully everything still continues to thicken up. The key to a good harvest is healthy vegetative growth, so nice thick healthy vegetative growth. And so, for example, this super tall plant up here, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be a nice producer compared to some of those smaller, stockier ones. And so I'm going to walk around this outer edge. You could see where my foot is, trying not to step on any plants or fall. This super tall plant over here, the top got busted off. I don't know if you could see it from hitting this bar, and so that's one thing we got to keep an eye on. Let's go around the other side. Doing this one-handed. I'm filming now. In the afternoons the winds really pick up and the leaves are just dancing like crazy, and I could tell they're a little stressed out from being uncovered and getting this direct sunlight. That they like the diffused light from the plastic, and it's just going to take a little time for them to get used to the direct sunlight. But anyway, you can see everything's doing pretty good, and I'm hopeful. There's still a lot of growing to do, and healthy vegetative growing before they start really flowering. I just want to see them thicken up a little more, but I'm not sure that's going to happen, especially with some of those, like those two over there, who are already showing signs of buds. This one's nice and thick, and there's not really any signs of buds yet, minus some pre-flowers. You can see the pre-flowers on everything. This thing will focus. And no signs of males, so hopefully I'm not overlooking anything. Trying to give everything enough room in here to have plenty of room to grow. So it's definitely overcrowded. Hopefully that's not gonna hinder the grow. July 6th again. Just wanted to show you the insides and how I came through and pruned a bunch of that wannabe lower growth. And I also came through with the hose yesterday and sprayed the undersides of all these leaves really well to try to clean them up from any pest damage. And because we got thrips in here, and so not using any pesticides, and hopefully we'll just be able to keep them at bay, and hopefully they won't get too bad. That's another reason I uncovered the greenhouse, because pests and mildew don't really take hold in the direct sun like they do. Here we see a lot of wannabe growth down here, and so hopefully that's just gonna, after pruning, that's just gonna send a lot more heavy growth up into the tops, and they'll thicken up. And so we'll see what happens. Cross your fingers. Hey everyone, it's June 15th, and today we got some flowering fertilizer on them, and we mixed 2 tablespoons of the veg and 2 tablespoons of the flour to make our own transition fertilizer. And so there's some signs of deficiencies over here, and we want to make sure that doesn't spread. And so they're going to like that, hopefully. This is a view of the lower part of the greenhouse. I did a lot of pruning in there, you can see, and to get rid of that spindly lower growth, and we opened up the sides so they'd get better light, even though they're more visible now to the neighbors and whatnot. We like to keep it as discreet as possible. And over here you can see it's already coming out of the side a little bit here and there. And we got some more deficiencies over here. And the bugs are starting to really cause some damage on some of these lower leaves. And so we'll come through and try to clean that out as much as possible also. Hey everyone, it's July 15th. This one in particular you can see is needs more fertilizer than the others. And luckily most of the other ones are not as sensitive to not having enough fertilizer. So anyway, just wanted to show you a view from the upper part of the greenhouse. Let's see. Buds are starting to form here and there. It's a good sign. Got some buds forming over here. And down there. We put another layer of netting across to help support the buds, especially when they get big and heavy. And trying to grow through the top. This direct sunlight is good. It helps prevent the pests from getting too out of control, and helps prevent the powdery mildew from showing up as well. Alright, let's try not to kill ourselves up here. It looks to me like there's going to be a whole field of buds over here when it's all said and done. A 12 by 24 foot field of buds. And actually I ended up having to take one plant out of the middle of the greenhouse that was hiding right down there because it wasn't getting any sunlight. So it was hiding right down in there. You can see everything looks pretty healthy for the most part, minus some pest damage and some nutrient deficiency here and there. But I'd say overall everything looks pretty darn good. Hey, it's Sunday, July 28th. We're still giving the plants half bloom and half veg fertilizer every week. And we also started giving them this calcium magnesium additive from Humboldt Nutrients. So I'll show you how we figure out the dosages for that. Hopefully that'll take care of some of these deficiencies we've been seeing. The plants are starting to flower pretty well, most of them. What's interesting, we have a purple diesel daze over here and a green crack over here that are starting to show good signs of buds. And then we have some THC bombs over here. Some of them are showing signs of buds, like the one over here, and then another one really isn't, and so that's interesting. Seeing a different strain, or the same strain from seeds, can grow so differently. Um, but in addition to um, some nutrient deficiencies, there's also some pest damage here and there. If you can kind of see some discoloration on some of the leaves, and when you look underneath, there's really not many signs of pests, and so I think taking the top off has really made a difference. And so I'm going to take you to the other side. What I'm going to do this next week is make a larger frame around the top. That way I can cover it again for when it storms, or if it starts to freeze at the end of the year. So they still have a long ways to go. This next month I'm going to give them full speed ahead on the bloom fertilizer that I have from FoxFarm, and then the month of September I'm going to switch to an all organic fertilizer. So everything's looking pretty decent. This right here is that calcium magnesium deficiency I was telling you about. I saw it on a couple of plants, but it doesn't seem to be too terrible. That's a better view when I'm blocking the sun. Hey, I wanted to show y'all how to mix this CalMag fertilizer. It's 2 to 5 milliliters per liter, and so actually, what is it? I think it's 2 to 5 milliliters per gallon. Sorry. And so I'll show you how to do the math here in a little bit. But per 55-gallon drum, we're within that range at 200 milliliters or so per 55-gallon drum. And so here I've got a trusty measuring cup where I've got it marked to 100 milliliters, and I'm going to do that twice. Make sure you shake this stuff up first. It's always a good idea. And I got this stuff on Amazon Prime Day on sale for about $35–40 for this gallon-sized container, so I thought that was a really good deal. Right at about 100 and just under 120. Okay, so 220 milliliters, and in this drum we've got a pump, a little sump pump, recirculating the water through this hose, and that's what we'll water with, and that'll make sure everything is nice and mixed up before we're ready to water. Amazon Prime Day. Here's that green crack that I was showing you earlier, and this is another one of those CalMag deficiencies. You can see the discoloration on that leaf right there, and so want to nip that in the butt before it starts showing on other plants. Here's a view from the top. See, this plant is really nice and dark green, and they all seem to be a pretty healthy shade of green, minus some deficiencies. You can see some other discoloration on this leaf, but we're already starting to get some nice buds starting to form, and it's only the end of July, so that's a really good sign. See if I can walk around without damaging anything or killing myself. There's actually one plant that we had to take out from over there that was getting overgrown, and so there's actually 19 plants in here. I threw the other one in the backyard. I'm not sure how much more growing these have to do either. They just keep getting bigger and bigger, so we'll see. They're almost at the point where they're going to stop stretching and they're just going to start filling out buds. You can see the difference between these two. There's some buds already forming. And I'm pretty sure these are both THC bombs right here. Again, we've got that CalMag deficiency. Don't want to start seeing that all over the place. This is the first year I've had to add that extra CalMag to them, probably because they're just bigger this year than ever. Plus I'm still learning how to use these new FoxFarm time-released fertilizers. And so, it's another view. Again, walking around without trying to damage anything, gotta be careful. See, it's really sticking out on this side of the greenhouse. That's why we had to take the plastic off to give them room to grow. And so the next cage will come out about a couple of feet to give them plenty of room. I'm going to make that one out of some outdoor rated PVC, which is probably not strong enough to handle major storms and major wind, but should be enough to cover it here and there. Mainly to prevent the mosquito spray from hitting the plants, and also for nights when it freezes here in October. Here's another CalMag deficiency. And over here is one of my arch enemies, which can get really intense. Oh, here's two of them. Couple of grasshoppers. You can see some speckling on the leaves from the pest damage, but then when you turn the leaf upside down, there's hardly any signs of pests. So that's why this direct sunlight is really good. It really prevents the pests from taking over, especially the small ones like spider mites and thrips and aphids. Uh-oh, there's another grasshopper. Okay, here's that CalMag fertilizer we got on sale on Amazon Prime Day, this Humboldt Secret. 35 bucks a gallon, that's a really good deal, especially it seems like it's going to go a long way. So let's figure out what 2 milliliters per 1 gallon is for a 55 gallon drum. So it's 2 to 5 milliliters per gallon. we want to do a 55-gallon drum, so 55 gallons. And then we need to figure out X milliliters. Okay, so we're going to cross multiply and divide, and remember when we do this, these conversions, gallons have to be on the bottom together or the top together. You can't have a gallon down here and a gallon up there to get this right. So anyway, we're going to cross multiply. 55 times 2, that's 110, and we're going to divide by X, which is 1. So 110 divided by 1 is 110 milliliters. That's for a 55-gallon drum at 2 mils per gallon. So let's figure out what 5 milliliters per gallon is for a 55-gallon drum. So X milliliters. Actually, what is it? It's 2 to 5. So let me just double check that. 2 to 5 milliliters per gallon. Yep. I don't know if you can focus on that. So 5 times 5 is 25, which is 250, plus another 25, so that's 275. So we're looking at 275 milliliters per 55-gallon drum at 5 mils per gallon. So 5 times 55 is 275, and you divide that by X, again, that's 1. And so at 2 to 5 milliliters per gallon, that's 110 to 275 milliliters per 55-gallon drum. And so we've been giving them right in the middle, about 200 or so, maybe a little more, 220. And so they seem to be tolerating it well. It says you can give it to them at all stages of growth, and we're just going to keep giving them that until it runs out, and hopefully we're not going to see any more of those deficiencies. Hey, it's September 28th still. Just wanted to show you guys a view of the inside of the greenhouse, where I came through and pruned a bunch of stuff. This is where I took that one plant out of that you can see got totally overgrown in here, but everything looks nice and clean. I'm going to come through and trim up a lot of this wannabe growth, do some pruning in here still, and that'll focus all the attention on the buds, and they'll start to thicken up a little better. So again, just wanted to show you a view from inside, and each plant is getting about 2 3/4 gallon of water every day. There's only been about 3 days so far this summer where they haven't gotten water, and that's because it was cloudy and rainy those days. Just another view of the underside of the greenhouse, and you can see it's definitely pretty difficult to get around in here. Here's a plant with some signs of pest damage. You can see that. I think that's thrips. But when you look underneath, you don't really see many signs of pests, actual pests. Oh, there's one right there. That's like an aphid. But even those aren't too prominent. So anyway, hopefully the pests are not going to be an issue, since we have this thing uncovered pretty much all the time now.